Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Gashi Skyman TV, the tourist man in Black Africa. Kenyans are over the moon. Kenyans are very happy. Kenyans are very, very happy with the ruling of the Court of Appeal that ruled that the affordable housing tax is unconstitutional, null and void. It refused to extend the taxation of taxation by Ruto's government, because what has been happening is that the High Court declared the housing levy unconstitutional, but Ruto's government went to the Court of Appeal and appealed, hoping that they would get a favorable response, hoping that they would get a favorable ruling. But the law is an ass. Sheria ni msumeno hukata beli na nyuma. The fact that this happened, we have seen the Federation of Kenyan Employers giving directives to the various employers to stop any further deduction from employees. And employees are very, very happy. If you ask me, I think Ruto need to refund all these illegal levies, because how do you allow, I ask and ask again, how do you allow the government to continue taxing Kenyans and using their money if it is unconstitutional, if it is illegal? I think it has come for Ruto to be forced to refund the money that he has been taking from Kenyans, because it cannot happen that you wake up very early, you go and work for a company, you go and work for the government as a civil servant, as a policeman, as an army officer, as any other person who is employed by the private sector. When you look at the private sector, you agree with me that the private sector is doing something good. And because it is actually providing employment for this country, I think the ruling, in my view, is actually music to the ears of many Kenyans. It is music, sweet melodies to Kenyan workers who have always been exploited by Ruto. And I've always asked you, remember even yesterday I asked you, in my video yesterday, for those of you who follows me, I gave a video showing Ruto akijigamba vile ambavyo ameajiri watu wengi kupitia the housing levy, sijui what. But he cannot be able to explain to Kenyans how much money he has collected so far, how much money he has scammed the people of Kenya, because the government is scamming Kenyans. The government is just taxing Kenyans and is looking for money for campaigns. That is why we are saying Kenyans are very, very happy. For those of you who pays taxes, I think it is important to realize that whereas we may support the paying of taxes, we don't support the exploitation of Kenyans. We don't support a situation whereby Kenyans are exploited for not getting the value for their money. Because what has been happening is that Kenyans have been paying the taxes, yes, and this money, now that the Court of Appeal see that it is unconstitutional and uphold the ruling of the High Court, then it means that what has been happening is a crime. And when you look at William Ruto has been forcing issues down the throats of Kenyans. And you know, that is why now Kenyans can see why he has been threatening the judiciary, that it is derailing his pet project. I told you that William Ruto, when you look at the determination of this housing, affordable housing, the way he has carried it is like a personal issue. The way amelichukulia kama ni swala ambalo hakuna jambo lingine. In fact, it's just a matter, it looks like it's a matter of life and death. Without this, it's like, I don't know. It is only because we know that there are so many kickbacks that these people are getting. I know they are vested interests. That is a fact. We cannot now wait for the fact. Otherwise, how do you explain this determination to continue even taxing Kenyans? And I know that the government is going to appeal to the Supreme Court. I hope Mother Kome's court is not going to sleep with the executive, because if Mother Kome sleeps with the executive, I think Kenyans will not allow this. Kenyans, you see, it is important to realize that Kenyans now have become wiser. Kenyans know what should be done. Kenyans know that Mother Kome is likely to be compromised. And if he is compromised, she will have herself to blame, because Kenyans will be very, very angry with her. Kenyans don't support the housing levy. In fact, most of the things that Ruto is doing does not, most of these things do not have the support of the Kenyan citizen. Remember, even the finance bill was forced down our throats. What is it telling you? It is telling you that now that the chicken are coming home to roost, I think Ruto should be very, very much prepared to follow the rule of the law, because he was sworn using the Bible and during the day, and he told Kenyans that he was going to uphold the constitution, he was going to defend the constitution, he was going to protect Kenyans from any aggression. But now he's turning out to be the aggressor. He's turning out to be the person who is actually trouncing the constitution that he's supposed to protect. This one, I can tell you this evening, because it's already 7 here in Kiabu, it's already 7 p.m. I can tell you, because from where I sit, you know, nimeshindwa hata kufika pale ambapo alikuwa nataka nifike ndio niweke hii video, kwa sababu wherever you go in matatus, people are very, very happy with the ruling. And for once, we have seen the rule of law prevailing. And this is what should happen to a country, because we are all equal before the law, we are all equal before the constitution, and there's no way that Ruto can be threatening the courts all the time, expecting them that they are going to rule in his favor. When I saw the union of the Association of Magistrates and Judges giving a press release yesterday, I knew that they are not with Mother Kome. Mother Kome is on her own. These people are not going to allow the judiciary to be used, to be misused by the executive that they want. These judges, these magistrates are there to follow the constitution, just like William Samuel Ruto. He is there to implement the constitution because that is his work. But when it comes to the interpretation of the constitution, that is the work of the judiciary. When it comes to the interpretation and arbitration of any dispute, it must be left to the judiciary. Because what the judiciary is doing, judiciary is now asserting itself. And when the judiciary is asserting itself, actually it is good for this country. It is good for Kenya. It is good for me. It's good for you. It's good for even William Samuel Ruto. But when the constitution is trounced, when the constitution is interpreted in a manner that is just meant to please some people, in a manner that is just meant to ensure that only some people benefits, I think would be failing this nation, which is not good in my view, which should not happen at any cost. So the fact that the court made such a ruling can only mean that this is what Kenyans expect. This means that the government has been stealing from Kenyans. The government has been stealing from workers. And you see, because the government, because this is actually something that has now failed, I think it's the high time that the government should now abandon this project. Because if it's not working, they should leave it at that point. And because this is a UDA project, and when you look at even UDA itself, you realize that it is not the whole of UDA. It is William Samuel Ruto and some few cohorts. People who think that they are very powerful. People who think that the law does not apply to them. People who think they are above the constitution. They are above the law. And it is very, very interesting. It is a good day for Kenyans. I don't know what you would say about this ruling, but if you ask me, I think it is the best thing that happened this week to the Republic of Kenya, when the Court of Appeal asserted itself and stood with the common mwananchi. Otherwise, what do you expect, ladies and gentlemen? I think we should say, shame on you. Shame on you, Kenya Kwanza, for trying to impose something that we don't support on our throat. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, this is Gashi's Command TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Please have a lovely weekend. Till next time. Bye-bye.